Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Welcome to r/AskReddit. Now I know I'm not here often, but I think I found a perfect question for today. Posted by user/LOJ. Anyone, what are some stories you've wanted to tell people, but haven't had the right AskReddit question to answer? My dad almost got snatched up by serial killer Bob Berdella. My dad missed the bus and was walking to school when Bob pulled up and asked if my dad wanted a ride. He was about to get in when he saw PMags on the floor, so he noped out. Thank God. When he saw the guy finally get caught on TV, he recognized it was him. My friend's uncle almost got swiped by Jeffrey Dahmer. He was telling me he was driving around and a guy said he was lost and he offered to drive him home. He had some of the best conversations with him and he was one of the nicest guys he's met. Once he got back to his apartment, Jeffrey asked him to come inside and have a snack. He didn't want to initially, but he went in. He offered him a soda, and when Jeffrey opened it, it didn't make the right sound of gas releasing. My friend's uncle said his wife was making dinner, and Jeffrey said that's alright, shook his hand, and thanked him for driving him home. He forgot about it, and a year later, he saw him on TV. Years ago, my family had 2 cats. Susie would terrorize Guy all day, every day. She'd stalk and attack him, and his whole life ended up consisting of hiding. We almost never saw him. So, the vet put Susie on Prozac. Though it didn't seem to affect her, it came in handy when I ran out of Prozac one month and borrowed some of hers. A few months later, a vet put Guy on some sort of stimulant in hopes that it would prompt him to stand up for himself. Again, no noticeable effects. About a year later, an envelope arrived in our mailbox addressed to Guy, our last name, clearly assuming that Guy was a human. The letter, which was sent by a large legal firm, explained that the manufacturer of the medication Guy had been prescribed was the subject of a class action lawsuit due to price manipulation and asked if Guy would like to join the suit. He replied in the affirmative, then forgot all about it. About another year later, Guy received a check for around $150 for his legal victory. Mum used the money to buy him toys and treats. And I love the TLDR. My cat won a class action suit against a pharma company. And the even sadder part is, this cat's probably better at making money than I am. My science teacher in 8th grade was talking to us about evolution and bed bugs, and how pet bugs evolved to become resistant to bug spray and whatnot. Then, he whips a petri dish from behind his back with live bed bugs in it and proceeds to tell us we cannot, under any circumstances, tell the principal about this, because he'd get fired. Next thing you know, he sneezes really hard and drops the petri dish. The bed bugs go everywhere, sliding across the floor. Then, after we'd all finished screaming and freaking out, that little effer proceeds to tell us that they're not bed bugs, they're sunflower seeds. About 4 years ago, when I was a senior in high school, I was hanging out with a close friend in Chipotle. Well, he and I started having this really deep conversation about life, about parents, about friends. He told me about how he didn't think his parents really cared about him, or that his friends didn't care either. He said that sometimes the joking and teasing with friends really got to him and hurt his feelings. I opened up to him about my mum's breast cancer. I didn't think anything of it. I had thought we were both just venting and having a deep heart-to-heart conversation. Fast forward about 2 or 3 weeks, a teacher my friends and I were pretty close with kept leaving the classroom randomly. She threw on a movie for us to watch during class and kept looking at some of us and writing stuff down. I didn't think much of it because, hey, who doesn't like watching movies instead of learning? That night, I was at work. A friend texted me telling me she loved me and would be there for me if I needed it. I just said thank you because I thought she was talking about my mum's breast cancer or something. Well, not even 10 minutes later, my friends are calling me and blowing up the phone. My friend didn't tell me what was going on, but told me, we're coming to get you. I was at work when my friends showed up and told me the friend I had a heart-to-heart to with had killed himself. I wish I had understood that the conversations he and I had had was him trying to ask for help. I could have and should have done something. I got into Reddit because of him. I miss you, Jay. Well over a decade ago, before I could drive, I was in the car with my grandma at a red light. Across the street was a Jack in the Box and I could see the parking lot. A sedan drives up, like a late 90s Toyota Corolla, and stops. A man in a white gown, like a baptismal gown, gets out and goes to the trunk. He opens it, and another man in the same gown gets out. They switch spots. The man that was in the trunk goes and sits in the driver's seat. Then the light turns green, and we drive off. My friend and I were in welding class, and I filled up a small trash bag with oxy/acetylene mix when he wasn't looking and set it off behind him. Big bang, big laugh, haha. Yeah, well, apparently I shouldn't have showed this to my friend, because the next day, this idiot friend of mine found a small crack or hole about the size of a quarter in the cinder block wall in our class. Stuck his unlit torch in there and just pumped gas wide open inside. After a while, he gets my attention, goes, "Watch this," pulls his striker from his pocket and lights it right next to the hole in the wall. Freaking boom! This kid blew a 5-foot hole clean into the other classroom. As a person currently taking a high school welding class, the idiots in my class scare me. They turn their acetylene torch valves all the way, proceed to leave it running while they talk, then they light it with a friend's torch. This has led to my hair almost being burnt off because I'm leaning over my weld to concentrate until a sudden boom of the acetylene being lit in front of my face just makes me jump back. My friend Ben rode to and from high school with me every day. Every day, like clockwork, we saw the same guy drive past us on the same road. He drove an old Chevy truck, probably an 80s model with a single cab. He always had his dog, his German Shepherd, who would be sitting in the passenger seat. One day, coming home from school, we passed the guy, but when I looked, the dog was in the driver's seat, and the guy was riding shotgun. I turned to Ben, and he immediately said, "Yeah, what the F? You saw that too? Imagination? Brain fart? I don't know. But I swear I saw that dog driving." At my high school orientation, the principal was giving a speech about road safety for pedestrians, and he said, and I quote, "In my time here, I've seen 3 kids hit by cars, and that's one too many." Reminds me of an eccentric boarding school head teacher who, whenever he was in front of the school for assembly in his purple robes, would say to quiet things down, "Every single time I open my mouth, an idiot starts talking." This did not quiet anyone down. Had a teacher at my high school randomly lecture kids about not drinking and driving. Few years later, he would hit a family on their bicycles, dragging a 7-year-old for about 800 feet, killing him, and then he took off. He was driving drunk and is still in prison. Why tell the kids a lesson when you can just show them instead? Obviously, your teacher was just going the extra mile. I was chasing someone that stole from the bottle shop, liquor store I was working at. She was probably about 16 years old. As I chased her, I was just about to catch her when she ran out into the road and got wiped out by a car. I kinda felt bad as I picked up the cans she dropped on the road as she limped away. Ended up getting a phone call off the police asking if we had been robbed. I asked how he knew, and he said someone called up claiming they'd run over someone fleeing the store. Alright everyone, I think I'll leave it here for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for Reddit videos every second day. But with that said, that is it from me. I hope you all enjoyed, and all I want to do is see you all here next time. See you later, guys.